Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. Now, the WTA draw, we're going to go through that. I know we've been through the ATP one. If you haven't checked that out, do check out that video. We also did a preview with Steven as well as a separate video, seen from the slice, tennis, and we did more of a general breakdown of the draw and the matchups, chances for specific players as well on the ATP men's side. We're going to look at the women's side. I was supposed to do this earlier, so apologies for the lateness. Let's get into this. So I'm going to go into the draw first. I don't want to spend so much time on it because I don't want to bore you guys. But first of all, please remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much to those who have done so. It's really appreciated. Right, let's get on to the presentation or the draw even. Right, so here it is. Hopefully you can see that. Let's get rid of this overlay so you can see better. So in the first round, you can see there's Ash Barty versus a qualifier. Ash Barty seen as one of the favorites, but she's got a pretty tough route. We'll go through a couple of, three people's routes to a potential final. From what I've seen very briefly, Barty, Osaka, and Raducanu have very tough draws, but we'll go through it. So Barty playing a qualifier in the first round, then Gracheva versus a qualifier. So the first couple of rounds are okay for Barty, but it's when she gets further on, we'll get into that, because Naomi Osaka, she could potentially face Naomi Osaka, who's only ranked 13 in the fourth round, which is crazy. But let's go through the rest of the matchups. Teresa Martinikova, Lauren Davis, they match up. Then we've got Anastasia Potapova versus Camilo Giorgi. Camilo Giorgi obviously winning Indian Wells. Not Indian. No, it was Indian Wells. She won Indian Wells. And she's a little bit on and off. I don't know how committed she is to playing tennis in terms of loving it. She did say she doesn't love it. I think I can safely quote that. She said she does it as a job. So, I don't know how far she can go in the tournament, whether she's a Grand Slam material, who knows. But if she's dialed in, she's a very talented player. Belinda Bencic plays against Kristina Mladenovic. So that's an interesting one as well. Qualifier versus Amanda Anisimova. Diana Yastrzemenska versus Madison Brengel. I'm not going to go through all of these. The reason why is some of them, I'm going to be completely honest with you, they are even matches and they're ones that I probably won't be keeping an eye out for as much. So I'm going to go through some of the ones that are big and notable ones, and also then give you what I think are the best first round matchups. So Naomi Osaka versus Camilo Sorio. So obviously, as I said, Osaka, if she wins, obviously in her little part of the draw, there's still Bencic and Giorgi. They're dangerous. But you'd expect if Osaka's playing at a decent level and so is Barty, they will meet in the fourth round. That will be a blockbuster fourth round. I mean, you wouldn't expect that. That's probably the final, right? That is worthy of a final. Ons Jabeur versus Nuria Perezas Diaz, the Tunisian, in fantastic form last year. A little bit of a breakthrough year for her, breaking to the top 10 as well. Let's see how far she can go. Marina Zaneveska versus Kaya Juvan. We've been through that. Let's go down a little bit. Jessica Pagula versus Angelina Kalinina. So Pagula obviously doing really well last year on some of the hardcourt tournaments. She could potentially face Ons Jabeur in the third round. In the fourth round as well. So that would be, again, a very, very good matchup, something that we would hopefully see. Then we've got Veronica Kadamatova, the 28th seed from Russia, facing Claire Liu. Sakari starts off her campaign against Tatiana Maria, which should be a pretty straightforward matchup. But then she could face Sasnovich in the second round, which isn't a very easy match, to be fair. She's very solid, Sasnovich, so that could be a potential banana skin. Barbara Krejcikova doesn't have an easy first round, but she should get through it. The fourth seed is going up against Andrea Petkovic, who is a wily veteran, but not, what she once was. So she should get through that. Then we've also got Alison Risk versus Donna Vekic. That's a really evenly matched first round clash for me. I think Vekic might get through that. She's tended to do quite well in the first couple of rounds of Grand Slams and also caused a few upsets. So, but let's see. Riska's got good weapons as well. Ostapenko, the one-time Grand Slam champion against Shmydalova. She's actually in the same part of the draw as Barbara Krejcikova. I'm not sure how much of a threat she is going to be. Very, very hot and cold, but let's see. Someone who I'm more interested in seeing is actually Victoria Azarenka. Obviously, she loves the hard courts. She's won Grand Slams on hard courts. She had a pretty damn good end to the season as well. Looked in good form with in my opinion, one of the matches of the year against Badosa as well, in one of the Masters finals. So she's a very, very talented player. We already know that. And on the hard court, she just seems at home. So quicker surface will suit her play, I'd imagine, as well. So let's see how she goes. She faces Udvardi from Hungary, unseeded player. She should be okay to get through that. Teichmann, no, she could potentially face in the second round, or Petra Martic. Those are actually pretty tricky second round matchups. Let's see how she does. And Alina Svitolina's not got an easy first round against Fiona Ferro, who's quite talented, the French player. Again, you'd expect the 15th seed from Ukraine to get through that. She'll be disappointed, Svitolina, as well, with her ranking, because if you remember, she was ranked in the top 5 for a lot of last year. To drop down to 15 is a big, big fall from grace. She won the bronze medal as well in the Olympics. Didn't kick on. Yeah, I mean, she made the quarterfinals of the US Open, but yeah, she has plummeted really down the rankings, which is a shame. Let's see how she goes. But she could potentially face Azarenka in the 4th round, which would be... No, sorry, actually, she would face Azarenka in the 3rd round, which would be very, very interesting. Is it white one? No, it would be, sorry, 4th round. In the 4th round, which would be a fantastic matchup. I would love to see that. I think it would be one of the matches of the tournament if they end up playing. Sofia Kenin's got a really hard first round against Madison Keys. That is one to watch. Madison Keys is so powerful. Sofia Kenin, former Grand Slam champion. She's come back from injury and had a very, very forgettable 2021. She's ranked 11 in this. She gets through Madison Keys, it will give her a lot of confidence. Let's see if she can, but she's got a very, very hard first round against Madison Keys. And for me, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the upset. Let's see what else. Coco Gauff versus Quan Wang. Coco Gauff should get through that okay. And she's in the same half or same little portion as Sofia Kenin, so they could meet in the 4th round. That would be really interesting as well. Coco Gauff, a lot of people actually tipped her to potentially win Wimbledon last year because of her game. She's improving leaps and bounds, and I wouldn't be surprised if she makes a very deep Grand Slam run this year. I don't know if she'll win one. I don't want to put that claim out there, but would I be surprised if she gets to a quarter or semi? No. Would I be really surprised if she got to a final? No. But let's see. Let's maybe temper our expectations a little bit. Sarah Sorribes-Tormo will be happy she's seeded at 32, but she's got a tough first round match against Kirsten Flipkins from Belgium. Marta Kostyuk should be really happy because normally she has an absolutely horrific draw at the Grand Slam. She's had really bad draws, to be fair. And she gets a wild card, Diane Pari. So this is her chance now to make a run at a Grand Slam. She's really talented, the Ukrainian player. She's unseeded. If she gets through that, she'll face either Flipkins or Sorribes-Tormo, which isn't an easy second round, but it's a lot better than some of the draws she's had. Potentially, if she gets through that as well, she will have to face Paula Badosa, most likely, who faces, again, a pretty tough proposition in Ayla Tomjanovic from Australia, which is not an easy first round by any stretch of the imagination. Let's go on to the bottom half of the draw, if I am able to. Yep. So Anna Kontaveit versus Katerina Siniakova. That's not an easy first round match at all. Very interesting. Clara Tolson from Denmark, the really exciting young prospect. She faces off against Astra Sharma interesting. She'll get through that, I would imagine. But then she's got Kontaveit in the second round. That's a tough ask. Shelby Rogers versus Anna Konju. And then Danielle Collins, the American, is her potential second round opponent. She's facing a qualifier. Elise Mertens versus Vera Zvonareva. That is a great first round matchup, genuinely. That's a really good one. I would back Mertens, but I wouldn't be surprised if Zvonareva gets through that at all. Rybakina versus Aryna Diaz, the 12th seed. Interesting there. Simona Halep versus Magdalena French. And then this is where it gets extremely interesting. That's a really, really tough first round for Emma Raducanu. She's facing Sloane Stephens, recently married. She'll be coming off a really positive wave, that's for sure. She's a former Grand Slam champion. Sloane Stephens hasn't really, well, let's be honest, she hasn't, I guess, kicked on since then. She's unseeded, and the number 17 seeded Emma Raducanu has a really tough proposition because Sloane Stephens is extremely tough. And I think the match as a whole, in terms of styles, will actually not favor Raducanu. So she hasn't been in great form recently. How will she perform? There will be pressure. She is a Grand Slam champion now. I wouldn't be surprised if she loses. I do hope she wins from a British point of view, but let's see how she goes. And then even if she does get through that, she'll potentially face Halep in the fourth round, which is not ideal. Well, actually, sorry, it'd be in the third round. It'd be in the third round. Yeah. No, sorry, it would be fourth round. Keep on getting mixed up. No, she's in the third round. Yeah, third round, which would be tough. But Muguruza's also in there as well. So Heather Watson, by the way, has got Maya Sharif. That's a pretty easy matchup. Heather Watson should get through that, but she's just so hot and cold. She really is. I hope she makes a little bit of a run because, look, she's not getting any younger. She's not old, but she's just, she's in her prime, really. She should be, and it doesn't quite seem to be showing it. And she's got talent. Just, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I don't know. I'm not a professional tennis player, but she just seems like her talent isn't quite being squeezed as much as it could be a potential. Garbine Muguruza against Clara Burel, the number 3 seed. She ended the year really strong. Let's see how she goes. She could potentially face Halep in the fourth round, and the quarters potentially Annette Kontaveit or Elise Mertens, Rybakina even, who knows. Then we've got Iga Swiatek versus a qualifier, so a good little draw there for Swiatek. Let's see how far she can go. Daria Kasatkina versus a qualifier. Interesting. Petra Kvitova versus Kirsty. Good one as well. That's a really good matchup. That could potentially be a that could definitely be an upset. Then 2 wild cards, and Robin Anderson and Samantha Stosur, obviously former Grand Slam champion Samantha Stosur. It's getting on a bit though. I'm not sure how well she'll do. She's playing still playing doubles as well, and playing it very well. Whoever wins that will probably face Pavlyuchenko with the number 10 seed. Then Kerber against Kanepi. That's a really hard first round for Angelique Kerber. Kanepi's a very tricky customer. That's a tough one. Leylah Fernandez, the US Open finalist, she's facing Madison English. She's got a much more favorable draw than Emma Raducanu for a first round anyway, but she may face Caroline Garcia in the second round, which wouldn't be that easy. And then, maybe Kerber or Kanepi, most likely. So that's a little tough part of the draw, but let's see how she does. She's looking quite confident, to be fair, going into this. Vondrousova versus Priscilla Hon. She should get through that, Vondrousova. And then we've got Sabalenka versus Sanders. So wild card. Sabalenka will probably meet someone like a Fernandez or a Kerber in the fourth round, and then quarters she could easily meet Iga Swiatek. That part of the draw is actually not that strong. Swiatek should make the quarters if she plays her best tennis for sure. Right, that's very interesting. So now I'm going to quickly share my screen and we can go through a couple of for me, the best matchups of the round and also the part of the final for a few of the players. First of all, actually, let's talk about some of the best matchups. For me, easy peasy, Raducanu versus Sloane Stephens. That's it. I don't even need to say any more on it because that's, for me, that no point even talking about. That's just the matchup. And then also there's a couple of routes to the final. Thank you to Ollie underscore 2022. Do go and check him out. Because I've seen a lot of other channels and people like using his information. He pulls it together either on Instagram or through their YouTube videos, etc. And like make sure you follow him because I'm followed him. I'm retweeting. I'm liking his videos because his tweets. And he clearly is a smart cookie and has some really good takes as well and information. So do follow it. If you're a tennis fan, you should be following him. Don't worry, we're not mates. I don't even know who he is, but look, it's really impressive to be fair. And look, I'm using it, right? So it's great to have. So Barty's draw part of the final, he's put here Gracheva as a second round, first round qualifier. So potentially, really, it's from the third round onwards, it could get a little bit slippery. Georgie is not easy. Potapova's not easy as well, but she should get through that. It's really Osaka or Bencic, and that is an absolute nightmare, to be honest with you. Then quarterfinals, Sakari, Jabeur, or Pagula. Again, that's not easy again. And then, to be fair, from the semi-finals onwards, you don't expect anything easy. But Muguruza or Badosa, and then final Sabalenka, Krajcikova, or Kontaveit. So that's a really, really hard draw. That's a really hard draw. It should be a little bit disappointing. Although knowing Barty, she'll brush it off and just say, "Look, I've got to get it done." To be fair, look, you need to be the best 90% of the time if you win a Grand Slam, or 95% of the time you need to be the best to win it. Simple as that. Muguruza is the number 3 seed. She's got a few interesting potential matches. So Clara Burrell should be okay. Cornell qualifier should be okay as well. Then Zidansek, Sharifa Watson. I mean, I don't think Heather Watson's going to be in the third round. I hope she will be, but I doubt it. But she should win in any of those. The fourth round, Halep, Stevens, or Raducanu. That's very interesting. That's hard. From the fourth round onwards, that's pretty hard. In fact, the fourth round's probably harder than the potential quarterfinalists, who's Rybakina, Mertens, Collins, or Kontaveit. And then semi-finals, Swiatek, Plavchenko, Kerber, Sabalenka. Final, Barty, Sakari, Krajcikova, or Badosa. So, yeah, interesting for sure. Muguruza, you keep an eye out for her. She's been in really, really good form in the last 4 or 5 months. And last 4 months, I would say. And I'm very intrigued to know what she brings to the table. And then we've got Osaka's draw, which is Sorio in the first round. Yes, she's got quite a good draw here, to be fair. Third round, okay, fine. Bencic or Anisimova is really from round 4. Ash Barty, then Jabeur Sakari, Badosa or Krajcikova in the semi-finals, and Sabalenka Muguruza. Thing is, this is all dependent on obviously no upsets happening. I think we need to just caveat that. It's very easy for me to sit here and say these are going to happen, but we have absolutely no. People could lose in the first round. It happens all the time, especially in the women's side. It's happened quite a few times over the years. To be fair, it was great. The US Open, we loved it because we had some young players coming through breakthrough. Even on the men's side, that people can definitely, especially in the Australian Open, it's the first Grand Slam. Not everyone is 100% match fit, and it's always interesting to see how people get through it and just generally feel they might just not be feeling it in terms of how they're striking the ball, and they're not on form. And it's very hard to play yourself into form in a Grand Slam. So let's see how it goes. For me, if I was to give a prediction, my predicted winner, oh my gosh, it's so hard. So hard. Sabalenka is an interesting one, because she is a very, very good player. And I think quicker courts will definitely suit her. Just thinking whether it's too early in the season, whether she'll need some matches to get through first. Muguruza is very good as well. Ash Barty, of course, you can't look past her. Osaka, if she's on form. So open. You know what? I'm going to go Muguruza. I'm not. I'm like with complete uncertainty, genuinely. Or am I? No, no, I'm going to go Sabalenka. Sabalenka. I'm going to go Sabalenka to win. Why not? Barty and Osaka, Muguruza, Krochko, Badosa, flipping even Raducanu and Fernandez. Look, any of these people can win genuinely. But I'm just going to go with Sabalenka because I have to pick someone. Dark horse, I'm going to go with, as a dark horse, Maria Sakkari is my dark horse. It's a bit of a strange one, you might think, but I'm going to go Maria Sakkari. Right, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Please remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, we will see you soon. And keep an eye out because we're going to be doing a lot of live watch-alongs and commentary for the Australian Open. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. See you guys later. Thank you very much.